jacket feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright. Echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Back here for a Sunday night. Got a couple of updates for you that are not football related. We are not going to talk about what happened to the 49ers because they don't exist, apparently. But Derek Rosa. Now, this is a story that we brought you, it was a while ago now. In 2023, I think, is when it originally happened. And it might be one of the most heinous killings of a parent I think I've ever heard of. This guy killed his mom when he was 13 at the time. And he has finally, after many years of court sessions and different happenings within his case, he finally has pled guilty and even sort of showed some remorse, which is astounding considering what he'd done to his mum. Stabbed his mum 46 times. And then I have an update about a different story, a cold case out of Texas that might be edging closer to a resolution. This story, if I can. So there was a story that happened a while ago. Here, let me pause this. Kaylee Goodwin. Do you guys remember Kaylee Goodwin? It felt like it never really got a resolution to it, but there had been some new developments in her case, including new search warrants and them actually issuing those search warrants and heading to different properties to look for evidence, people, a few different things. And they were searching 2 homes tied to her disappearance in Baytown. So we're gonna have a look at that in a second too. And yeah, that's a very strange disappearance. And that one was dated back to April of 2024. So a couple of older cases starting to one is now wrapped up. A guilty plea means it's basically done. Just have to wait for him to be sentenced. This other one looks like it might maybe get a resolution shortly, which would be really good. I think that would be good because her case has sort of drifted and done nothing for a long period of time. I'm going to just try bring up something about Kaylee from when it first happened. Yeah, let's start back in July of 2024, so a couple of years ago. Let's start there with Kaylee. And then we'll go to the updates from recently, from today. Not today, but they're like the last couple of days over the weekend.
Mother telling us she is fighting to make sure there is justice for her daughter who was murdered and justice for a missing woman who police say was kidnapped by the same man who killed her daughter. Jason Miles talked to the mother. He's live at the Harris County Jail tonight with what she has to say. Jason?
This mother reached out to us after seeing this week Kaylee Goodwin's mother on TV pleading for help finding her daughter. Goodwin disappeared 12 days before Megan Rouse's murder. The same man locked up here tonight, tied to both cases.
Oh, okay.
2 months after 24-year-old Megan Rouse was laid to rest.
That's her problem.
It's no easier for mother Donna Shaw to discuss her death.
Because she's gone. She's missing. You know, she's not missing, but she's missing from the family.
The fourth of 5 daughters was found dead May 3rd along a secluded street in South Houston, beaten and shot multiple times.
You know, did she call out for me? Did she call out for her dad? You know, I think about her, you know, just laying there.
Shaw considered Megan a butterfly who kind of fluttered through life, but has no idea how she ever encountered the man accused of killing her. 39-year-old Quan Flowers, seen here during a recent court appearance. The same suspect now accused of kidnapping 29-year-old Kaylee Goodwin of Baytown, who remains missing. Police say she was last seen April 21st, leaving this apartment complex with Flowers in his girlfriend's car. Goodwin's mother later got a call demanding money for her return as she cried out in agony in the background.
He's a monster. I didn't mean to say that, but, you know, it's just, it boils down to it. That's all he is.
Her fight is our fight, is what Shaw's t-shirt says, and finding justice now extends beyond her own daughter.
So it looks like, at least for Kaylee's one, it looks like they haven't given up hope of trying to tie it to Quan Flowers, but they are still moving forward with gathering information, searching out places, trying to find where Kaylee might be or what properties might be connected to her disappearance. Now, according to this new article, investigators searched 2 homes in southwest Houston overnight in connection with the disappearance of Kaylee Goodwin. And they're saying here, Baytown police confirmed the search warrants were executed with the assistance of Texas EquiSearch and Precinct 7 deputies, although authorities have not disclosed what, if anything, was found during the search. That's interesting. That's a lot of people. Texas EquiSearch coming in? That's like they're looking for a body. Normally, Texas EquiSearch is normally only there to find missing people. So that's a bit of a clue. And then it says here, cell phone video captured heavy police activity in the southwest Houston neighborhood overnight. And according to a search warrant, investigators were authorized to search for evidence connected to murder, kidnapping, and tampering with evidence. They said one of the homes belongs to the late parents of Ella Richardson, who was served a search warrant. Richardson said she received a call from a detective and arrived late Wednesday night to find officers removing items from the neighboring property. And she says, our home was searched, but the backyard of the house next to it was torn to pieces in the backyard. Richardson said she learned for the first time that detectives believe Quan Flowers may be connected to the home. Flowers is charged and accused of kidnapping Goodwin and faces a separate murder charge in that he's killed another woman. What surprised me, who is this person? How is he connected to this house? And who gave him authority to be here? So Richardson said she has no idea why Quan Flowers would have any connection to the house named in the search warrant, which is her home, and what, if anything, it's got to do with Kaylee Goodwin. But for some reason, police believe it has something to do with the disappearance of Kaylee. So here, I'll play this new update here.
2 homes in southwest Houston in connection with the disappearance of a Baytown woman. We've been covering this story ever since 29-year-old Kaylee Goodwin was last seen in April of 2024. Tonight, Maria Aguilera is talking to the woman whose family owns one of the properties that was searched.
Cell phone video shows heavy police activity in a southwest Houston neighborhood overnight, linked to the case of a missing woman.
This is pretty alarming for all of us.
Baytown police confirmed search warrants were executed at 2 homes tied to the disappearance of Kaylee Goodwin, who was last seen in Baytown in April 2024. Texas EquiSearch and Precinct 7 deputies assisted in the search.
Received a call from a detective.
One of the homes belongs to the late parents of Ella Richardson. She was served a search warrant. According to that warrant, investigators were authorized to search for evidence connected to murder, kidnapping, and tampering with evidence.
Our home was searched, but the backyard of the house next to it was torn to pieces in the backyard.
Richardson says she arrived late Wednesday night watching officers remove items from the neighbor's property. Also learning for the first time who detectives believe may be connected to the home, Quan Flowers.
What surprised me is, who is this person? How is he connected to this house? And who gave him no authority to be here?
Flowers is charged and accused of kidnapping Goodwin and faces a separate murder charge in another case.
No one stays permanently at the home.
The home has no lights. I've had the lights disconnected, no water.
Richardson says only her brother comes and goes from the home. And despite neighbors calling over the years about people at the home, she says she never encountered anyone there. Police have not said what, if anything, was found during the search. In Southwest Houston, Maria Aguilera, KHOU.
It seems a bit weird. She's like, oh, no one's ever been here. There's no permanent residents of the property. I turned off all the water and the electricity. Well, that was 2 years ago that Kaylee Goodwin went missing. That might be the case today, but what happened 2 years ago? I wonder if something caused her to cut off the electricity, to cut off the water. Was there people maybe squatting in the building? Were people using the property as some sort of, you know, I don't know, stash house or something because it was empty? It's a possibility. And the fact that they believe it's got something to do with Quan Flowers and Kaylee Goodwin, you have to think about, well, this woman's all like, oh, I don't know. Well, really? You don't know? It's your home and it's connected now to the disappearance of a woman and the most likely her murder. And you're just like, yeah, I don't know. It's my house. No one lives here. I don't know who Quan Flowers is. She spoke in a strange way too. She's like, "Oh, well, who gave him authority and stuff?" That's not like that's a weird way to answer the question of do you know who Quan Flowers is or do you know who Kaylee Goodwin is or why police would want to search your property. It was almost defensive. So, I don't know. I don't know if I believe her fully that she doesn't know who Quan Flowers is or who is Kaylee Goodwin. So Quan Flowers is a very, very bad guy. He has already been indicted for killing a different woman. Her name, uh, her name is Megan Rouse. She was 24 years old. The other woman that we're talking about tonight, Kaylee Goodwin, she was 29. So he's been connected to the death of a couple of women, not just one. Here, I can take you back. I can take you back and show you what it's like for the other side of the case. So that was the update about Kaylee Goodwin and trying to track her down and trying to find some justice for her. But there's another family, and you saw them in the first video, Megan's family. Her family have been going through hell with Quan Flowers, and when you watch this, you'll get a little bit of an insight into maybe what happened to Kaylee Goodwin, because this other family already knows what it's like to have a child murdered by Quan Flowers, and someday in the future, most likely, Kaylee's family will have to deal with the same reality that this family is already dealing with.
Tonight, a man accused of murdering a young woman now sits in a Harris County jail. Quan Flowers is accused of murdering 24-year-old Megan Rouse. Last month, Houston police came across the victim's body while on patrol near 288 and the South Beltway. Surveillance video from nearby businesses showed a 2022 Chevy Malibu in the area, which was registered to Flowers' girlfriend, which led to his arrest. Today, the accused murderer was in court for a bond hearing. Also in court was Rouse's parents.
One day at a time is all we can do. I mean, you never expect your child to get murdered. You're not supposed to outlive them. I hope they give him the death penalty as far as I'm concerned.
Right now, his bond sits at $450,000. Now, Flowers is also connected in a separate incident out of Baytown. Baytown police have named him a person of interest in the disappearance of Kaylee Goodwin. The 29-year-old has been missing since late April. Right now, she's still registered as missing. If you know anything Contact Baytown investigators or call Crime Stoppers.
Also,
So Quan Flowers has only been charged with kidnapping Kaylee, but not in the death of her. And partially that's got to do with because they can't find Kaylee and they don't have a body, so they don't fully know what happened to her the last time she was seen. They know that she was with or forcibly with Quan Flowers, but they don't know exactly what happened after that. Um, they're saying here when Megan went missing, she was found dead on May 3rd in 2024 along a secluded dirt road in the Alameda area near Highway 288. Police said she'd been badly beaten and shot multiple times when they found her body. I mean, that's awful. And they like you heard, cops found her body while they were on patrol. They just found this poor woman who had been killed, and now these two families are connected forever through heinous crimes. So Flowers was in the news not that long ago because he'd been charged with kidnapping Kaylee, and she was last seen alive leaving her apartment on Decker Drive the night of April 21st, 2024, 12 days before Megan was killed. So even though Megan's one has sort of been solved, her one happened after Kaylee's, but they just can't find Kaylee. It's really sad. They say here that Kaylee was in a car with Flowers. Now they're saying it's kidnapping. Her mother later got a call demanding money for Kaylee's return. She could hear her daughter crying out in agony in the background of that phone call. Baytown police said they found evidence that Goodwin was assaulted by Quan Flowers at a home in Houston, but no one knows what happened to her after that, and she is still missing to this day. So these new search warrants that they're doing, I think that is great. Hopefully it means we're getting closer to a resolution. Give me one sec. I'll get the search warrant for you. Here.
Dismembered and burned in a
Yeah.
dismembered and burned in a barrel. That's information I got straight from a search warrant in connection to a missing woman in Baytown, Texas. Kaylee Goodwin has not been seen since April 2024. This search warrant is from December of that year, and it's for Quan Flowers' home. He's charged with aggravated kidnapping in Kaylee's disappearance. The warrant says he took Kaylee to his home at one point. There are a lot of other details in this warrant.
Did you hear that first part though? They believe that Kaylee on that night or near it was dismembered. I mean, that's horrific. They're saying here, Click to Houston obtained a search warrant filed in December of 2024, and in that search warrant, it says on April 22nd, 2024, records show that Goodwin's mother received a disturbing phone call from a man demanding $600. The search warrant indicates that she heard her daughter's voice in the background saying, "Mama, my face is deformed." So he beat her, probably just like he did with Megan. Flowers allegedly accused Goodwin of stealing money. Court records also show a witness saw him hit Goodwin in the face several times with a handgun. Police later found Goodwin's suitcase with her ID inside the Fort Bend County property. Witnesses told police that Goodwin later appeared at a different Houston home severely beaten. An anonymous informant told police they were told to kill Goodwin, dismember, and burn her body in the backyard of Flowers' home. Flowers is accused of using a metal barrel with no holes to burn the body. Neighbors reported seeing a fire in the backyard and described the smell as the worst they had ever experienced. They said, flash forward to this Wednesday night, a tip led investigators to a home in southwest Houston where a woman named Ella Richardson Ward's parents once lived. Warrants were served at 2 properties that appeared to be abandoned. Like that lady was talking about, had no water, had no energy to the property. And Baytown police said at this time, investigators did not locate any obvious human remains during the execution of the search warrants at those properties, but said items were collected and will be sent for lab testing as part of standard investigative procedures. This case remains under investigation, and any confirmed information will be released when appropriate. So, some really sad updates when you hear that it sounds like Quan was beating her in the face with a pistol. And she was crying in the background of that phone call saying how the hits to her face had deformed her face. He'd beaten her so badly that her face was deformed. I think that's horrific. And then you hear about the anonymous informant told police they were told Goodwin was killed, dismembered, and her body burned in the backyard of Flowers' home. Flowers is accused of using a metal barrel with holes, not without holes, with holes to burn the body. So, and you hear what the neighbors say? They described the smell from that fire as the worst they had ever experienced. Most of the time when you smell fires, like some of them don't smell great depending on what they're burning. But for the neighbors to describe it as the worst they'd ever smelt, I mean, I'm sure burning humans don't smell great. I'm sure that's probably a thing, but it's really, really not nice at all. Let me see if I can find. Yes, I want to take you out here, and it's got a bit more information about that warrant.
Investigators are still trying to determine what happened to Kaylee Goodwin. The Baytown woman disappeared in 2024. Crews were seen searching a home today for clues linked to the case. And new tonight, KPRC2 has obtained a different search warrant with details about where Goodwin was believed to be before she vanished. Quan Flowers is accused in her disappearance. He is now in the Harris County Jail. That is where we find our KPRC2 News reporter, Corley Peel, who has details about that search warrant. Corley.
Keith, Quan Flowers is charged with aggravated kidnapping in connection to Kaylee Goodwin's disappearance, but he's here in the Harris County Jail on an unrelated murder charge. But that search warrant we obtained is for his house, and that's one of the places police believe he took Kaylee Goodwin before she vanished. This search warrant filed on December 2024, revealing new details about Kaylee Goodwin's disappearance, focusing on Quan Flowers' home. It's where court records show he took her after picking her up from an apartment complex on April 21st, 2024. The last day she was seen. Neighbor Miss Davis has seen police at Flowers' home several times ever since.
And they got her dog, and the police got there 3 or 4 times.
On April 22nd, 2024, Goodwin's mom called police, saying a man called her, demanding $600. Search warrant shows she heard her daughter's voice in the background, saying, "Mama, my face is deformed." A witness told police the phone call came from a home in Fort Bend County. Flowers accused Goodwin of stealing money. Court records show a witness saw him hit Goodwin in the face several times with a handgun. Police later found her suitcase with her ID in the home. Witnesses told police Goodwin showed up to a different home in Houston, severely beaten up. In the warrant, an anonymous informant told police they heard Goodwin was killed, dismembered, and her body was burnt in the backyard of the home. They accused Flowers of using a metal barrel with holes in it to burn her body. Witnesses say they saw a fire in the backyard, describing it as the worst smell they have ever smelled. Flash forward to last night. A tip led investigators to a home in Southwest Houston, where this woman's parents once lived.
So the dog came back here and he just kept sniffing towards this way.
Serving warrants at 2 properties appearing to be abandoned. It's unclear what evidence detectives did or did not find, leaving more questions about where Goodwin could be. And Baytown police confirmed they did not find any human remains at that property last night. They said any evidence they did collect will be taken to a lab. I did have a chance to speak with Kaylee Goodwin's mother on the phone today. She says she is grateful that there are movements in this case, and she is asking if anyone has any tips about her daughter to please contact the Baytown Police Department.
You know, you think about the two families involved in this, both connected to Quan Flowers, both in a very heinous way, both their daughters killed, you know, mere days apart from each other. And you think of the two lives that those victims' families are leading right now. One is missing their daughter. She's killed in a very heinous crime, really violent, beaten and shot to death. That's Megan. But they know where their daughter is. They've been able to find her, lay her to rest, and now they're going through the justice system to go after Quan Flowers. Then you have Kaylee Goodwin and her family. They know small bits of detail about what happened to their daughter, but they don't know all of it. The other thing they don't have Kaylee. They don't know where she is. And for the last almost 2 years, she's never come home. They've never been able to locate her, and no one can quite say where the last place she was. Now, that information points to possibly her being dismembered and burnt in the backyard of Flowers' home. But what happened to her after that? Because it would be nice to be able to bring her home to her family at some point. You know, sometimes I've worked with victims' families. The justice part is part of it, and it does mean something. But being able to get their loved one back and to bury them in a place where they can visit them and give them a rightful burial means maybe even more than seeing the person held accountable, because they don't have to wonder anymore about where their loved one is. And you see that disparity between the two families, both united through Flowers killing their daughters, but it's almost like they're a canyon apart. One of them is almost at the end of their journey, and the other one hasn't even begun yet because they can't. They don't know where Kaylee Goodwin is. Now, Quan Flowers, I agree with the family. If he can get the death penalty for his crimes, that would be great. I think he is a very deserving individual, and that would be a great use of the county and the money and people's time. I think that would be great. I just think there's some people on this earth that can never be rehabilitated, that should never be allowed back out into the public. And if we're not going to let them back out into the public and they can't be rehabilitated, then why are we keeping them around just to feed them and keep them alive? If we did that to every monster that happens in our world, our prisons would be full. So, hey Anna, how are you? You found out some Gippsland gossip today? Anna says, Happy New Year, Ping and all. It seems as though Phillip Island has a bit of history. It does. There is the case of the body cut up in the bathtub, someone thrown off the bridge, and the boys' home incident. Yeah, Phillip Island has a few different things going on. I'm confused by your messages. I don't know. I just found out some Gippsland gossip today, and then you say, "Sorry, I don't know more." So did someone come up and say, "I've got some gossip for you," and you went, "Great, tell me," and you're like, and they went, "That's all I can tell you," and then you were like, "I'm gonna tell Ping," and you went, "I found out some gossip today," and then you said, "I don't know anymore." I don't know if I'm missing a message here, but it's only showing me these two. It makes it seem like that's all you know. You're just like, I heard some gossip today, but I don't know anymore. Uh, let me know. What's his oral name? Quan Flowers. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Where is it? Here. Here, I'll put it in the chat for you guys. You know, my thick Spanish accent gets in the way sometimes. Quan Flowers, there you go. He is a very bad guy. Very bad. I'm just trying to pull up his mugshot. I'm not sure what he's doing in this mugshot. Dude looks like somebody injected him with some Toradol or something. Like, dude looks like maybe he's been smacked in the head a couple of times. What's with the eyes? Guy looks like he's either high as hell or I don't know. Justice Jean, hey Justice, how are you? Chipmunk said I kept hearing cornflowers. Cornflowers. Anna said I was making the point because yesterday Ping said nothing ever happens in Phillip Island. Oh. I don't know if nothing ever happens in Phillip Island. I mean, there's not that many major crimes like the one we saw the other day. I mean, it's not like Melbourne is what I meant. Melbourne, there's stuff that goes on here like every day. Like there's major events and major crimes. There's like murders every 2 seconds. What I meant was like Phillip Island's quieter than the city. Lisbeth said, "Why Toradol?" I don't know. This just sounded like a good idea. It's the only one I could think of at short notice. It definitely looks like someone has given him a shot of Toradol in the face. That is definitely what it seems like. All right. So that's the update. It's very interesting that that the cops are still executing search warrants, at least trying to find out if they can find any trace of this woman. I mean, it's sad that they didn't find anything, that the cadaver dog didn't pick up any human remains at that property. It would have been nice to be able to go into 2026 with being able to find her. Uh, but it seems like we're not there yet. We're not there yet, apparently. Like yeah, you hear that one thing, right? Um, there was a phone call demanding money, like a ransom, to get her home to her family. He wanted $600, and then she said in the background of the call, "Mama, my face is deformed." And apparently that's from him beating her in the like with the pistol and pistol whipping her so much that her face was basically probably bruised and swollen. And you know, you guys would have seen someone who has been hit in the face with a gun before. It's not easy. Let me see. Chipmunk says, "You know what they say about guys with chin balls? He definitely has chin balls, right? They look like tiny acorns." Chipmunk says, "Drug money most likely." Well, he said that she owed him money, but I've not seen any proof so far that she actually did owe him any money. That's what that $600 was for, was a repayment. But it says here that apparently Goodwin's mother, Casey, did make a payment of $1 to the Cash App account that the payment was demanded to, which police allegedly determined belongs to Flowers' girlfriend. So they did that just so it could be traced at a later time. Flowers allegedly told police that he picked up Goodwin on April 21st under the direction of an unknown male and claimed that the woman was in one piece when he last saw her. That is very believable, Mr. Flowers, considering you've already been indicted for killing and brutalizing another woman. I'm unsure how much we should believe you and your story of, oh, she was all right when I last saw her. I mean, sometimes I wonder how much these people actually believe the words coming out of their mouth. It's doesn't make any sense. Lisbeth said the fact that he asked for $600 tells you a lot on the value our life has for him. I agree. Chipmunk says, I think it's the opposite of big feet. All right. Okay. He's got a butt chin. He sort of does. He sort of does. Hey, Rachel, how are you? Don't believe him one bit. I know. Wait, so did Anna just like come in to tell us that that Phillip Island is not quiet and then ran away? Okay, fair enough. Chipmunk says he has to use wet wipes for his chin. That's because of all the BS that is running down his mouth. Because everything he says is like dripping BS. He is. I don't think you can believe anything he says about anything. He's already, like I said, he's already been indicted for another murder. What are you going to do? Be like, oh my God, I know you were lying about the first murder, but this time we genuinely believe you. It's okay. We believe you this time. We know you're telling the truth about this woman. That we know you lied about the last one. No. I don't think anyone believes Kwan is telling the truth about what happened to either of these women. So here's a photo of both of them, by the way. Both nice looking young ladies. And yeah. It's interesting that in the case of Megan, they have actually a lot of evidence. They have ballistic information from shell casings, surveillance footage, witness statements, a whole bunch of different things. But in the other one, it's almost like there's a void of that type of evidence. And it's strange to me that the second murder he committed has more evidence than the first one he committed. You can't even accuse him of learning from the first one and that he got better and learned how to hide things, because the one that there is a lot of evidence is actually the first one. So even though her one was, it's swapped around. Let's see. Chipmunk said, "Here's a big bubba." Yeah, well, there's probably a bigger bubba in there. Gayla said, "Why has he got a squirrel's bum on his face?" I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. Did he already get done before? I see a mugshot from when he was younger. What is this for? Hold on, guys. I see a mugshot, a secondary one. Okay. There looks like there was a... Is that him? Okay, I don't know. When I search his name, there looked like there was a second mugshot, but it looks like it was taken like 15 years ago. And it looked like Quan Flowers, but when he was much younger. Well, he didn't have the goatee, he didn't have the graying of his facial hair, and he looked a little different. Okay. I don't know. Maybe he's been. I wouldn't. Would you put it past him that he's been in trouble with authorities before? I don't think that would be a shocking bit of information for anyone. So where do we go from here? Well, I guess the search for this lady is still continuing. We got to just hope that whatever this tip about Kaylee Goodwin was, that the person who came forward to give it will come back and give more information, because it sounds like they were on the right path, but it's either not not full information, or the information is slightly incorrect, because I think they basically told authorities you could find her human remains at the property, and there was nothing there that they could find. So if it's not at this property, is there another property that they're getting confused about? And could it be maybe somewhere over there? And could this person who gave this information somehow find out? Because it takes a lot to get in contact with authorities, give up this type of information about a well-known homicide investigation, and then sort of be wrong about it, because yeah, they didn't locate um Kaylee Goodwin at all. So it's very sad. Let me check one other thing here. Um, yeah, I'm gonna take you back to the 4th of July. I just want to see if this is the one we watched before. Okay, I'm gonna take you back to when she first went missing, to give you a better idea of what it was like back then.
Mother of a missing Baytown woman begging for help. Kaylee Goodwin's been missing now for months and believed to have been kidnapped.
Yeah, the suspect in her case charged with kidnapping today is also facing murder charges in the death of a young woman in Houston. Jason Miles live in Baytown tonight, where Kaylee was last seen alive. Jason?
Hey there, guys. Yeah, a man reported seeing Goodwin leave an apartment complex down the street here with a man back on April 21st. Police think that man is accused killer Quan Flowers, also known as Country. For the first time today,
my goal is to not forget about Kaylee Brooke Goodwin.
Casey Richardson spoke about her 29-year-old daughter, last seen more than 2 months ago.
When you're enjoying your 4th of July with your family, remember, we have a family that is one missing.
Baytown police announced they've charged 39-year-old Quan Country Flowers with aggravated kidnapping related to Kaylee Goodwin's disappearance. They say he's the same man already charged by HPD with murdering 24-year-old Megan Rouse, who was found beaten and fatally shot in early May near 288 and the Beltway.
I hope they give him the death penalty as far as I'm concerned.
We spoke with Rouse's parents during a recent court appearance. They said they're praying for Goodwin's family.
We need peace. This whole family needs peace.
Baytown police say cell phone and other data led them to Flowers after a witness reported seeing Goodwin leave this complex with an unknown man. The day before, Goodwin's mother got a call from someone demanding money for her safe return. She believes her daughter was crying in the background. Further evidence led to another apartment in Houston, where alarming clues were found.
Detectives discovered evidence linking Kaylee to that residence and learned that while at that residence, she had been assaulted by Mr. Flowers and taken from the residence.
Tonight, her whereabouts remain a mystery. And another man was arrested at that Houston apartment complex on an unrelated warrant. Meanwhile, if you know anything about Kaylee Goodwin's whereabouts, call Baytown Police or Crime Stoppers. Texas EquiSearch also involved in looking for her. Reporting live from Baytown, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
We are all wishing.
So you can see just how many bloody properties they've already searched. They mentioned like 3 of them just in this video. In the new information, they searched another 2, and there's been multiple others that they've been to trying to find her. Montana said, so when this terrible smelling burning was going on, wouldn't you think the neighbors would have called in complaints about illegal burning? Do you think the cops would turn up in Houston for that? I don't think so. I can't imagine. Yeah, maybe in like 3 days' time, but I just don't think they would consider it a priority. Montana says maybe they discovered what he was up to then, possibly. Gail said, I'm not encouraging violence, but he wouldn't have made it this far if it was my daughter. Wow. I think her mom would kill him too if she could. SPM said, why doesn't he just confess already? They never do. She might have been located at that point. Well, now we're 2 years down the track and no one knows anything. And they haven't been able to find her either. Somewhere in the greater Houston area is Kaylee Goodwin, possibly dismembered and chopped up in pieces. You know, we were talking about Trisha Graff the other night, right? And we had little Max on the show as well. And I was talking to Mrs. Ping about it afterwards, and I go to Mrs. Ping. Don't you find it really strange when we hear these stories and people just vanish? And she goes, yeah, I don't understand how people just disappear. And it gets into my head too, because it's not like I walk down the street every day and I'm like, oh my God, there's a body of someone who is missing. And you think to yourself, could there be a body over there? Is there one behind this home? Is there one in the river here? And you think of how many people have gone missing over the years. And it's almost like there could be remains just about everywhere, because there's so many people that just disappear into thin air. It just really boggles my mind that we somehow can't find these people, yet the urbanization of where we live is getting more and more severe. They're always knocking down houses for apartments and digging up foundations. But it's so rare that we actually find a missing person in that type of scenario. Doesn't happen super often. Sometimes, but not that often. You're still here? All right. Enjoy your dinner. Susan said, people don't go missing where I live, a tiny, dense country. Well, in Melbourne, people go missing all the time. There's a young girl who went missing 14 years ago. Schoolgirl was walking to school. She was supposed to go to school for the day. Kids around here all walk to the primary school and the high school every morning. They all do it. If you live in the local area, you either ride your bike or you walk. And on some point between leaving her home and getting to the school, she was abducted. And they've never found her. They've never located the guy who abducted her. They don't even know what he looks like. They don't even really know what car it is. Like they have a witness who saw a type of car, but they're not even sure that that witness is being correct. And they still don't know. And it's almost 15 years later. They have no clue where this girl is. None. They just don't know. You think about her often? Yeah, her name is, here, I'll find it. It is not Eloise. Well, Eloise is a different one. It is Sirikun Bung or Sirabun Bung. This girl. This is actually in my local area. This is not too far from where I live. So she was in Baronia. Actually, okay, it's a little further than I was making it out to be. About 25 minutes from where Ping lives. Thursday, 2nd of June, 2011. 2011. It's 2026. This girl, should she be alive? Like, if she was still alive today, she'd be an adult. She'd be out in the workforce, like, living her adult life. And to this day, there's never been anything, nothing to demonstrate where she might be, nothing to say what happened to her. There's been no body located. They're not even sure who might have wanted to take her. Nothing. There's no updates. They did this big investigation when she went missing, and that was it. Like, they just went, "Oh, we don't know." And people were like, "What do you mean you don't know? You're the cops." And they went, "Yeah, I don't know. There's no cameras. No witnesses came forward. We don't have any evidence." They're just like, "That's all we can do. We don't know." And that's basically how it's been for the last 15 years. There is no new evidence. There is no new witnesses. No one saw anything. And this girl just left her home one day and never made it to school. And yeah, they've never found a body. It's really odd. You would think in the last 15 years they might have found a child's body somewhere, but nope. Haven't found anything. So Lisbeth said, I wonder if the same guy who took her did it again before or after. I don't think we have any other missing children that are unaccounted for in this similar type of way. I think she is about the only one. There's not been that many truly stranger abductions in Melbourne. Susan said, so they're never going to find her unless someone like stumbles across her body in bushland or something. No, I don't think so. Carolina said, I had a news article on my Facebook about about that couple in Oconee County, South Carolina. Oh, the elderly couple that died in their home. Yes. There is no update. Yeah. I'm sorry. I would have talked to you about it tonight, but there is no update. So we spoke about it the other night. I think one was 71, one was 72. They were found dead in their home in South Carolina. And their family found them after they just weren't picking up the phone. They weren't staying in contact. And they found that they had been savagely murdered inside of their home. And I was hoping for a press conference, but there hasn't been one. I think it's this one here.
All new for you at 10 o'clock. A double homicide is shocking a small upstate community. Officials say husband and wife, 76-year-old Larry Moore and 75-year-old Sandra Moore, were found dead inside their home from traumatic injuries. Investigators in Oconee County say they need your help tonight.
And that's where we find Fox Sky's Alexa Urbach tonight with more.
The Oconee County Sheriff's Office says 76-year-old Larry Moore and his wife, 75-year-old Sandra Moore, were found dead inside their home just after 9 o'clock Thursday night, right here where they lived along Cromer Moore Drive.
Salt of the earth people who didn't deserve this. That's how one neighbor described the Moores. Officials say a relative discovered the Westminster couple during a check-in on Thursday after family members had not heard from them since early in the week. Deputies calling their deaths suspicious. Autopsies revealed both died from traumatic injuries. Despite deputies saying this was an isolated incident, neighbors are left shaken.
Kind of scared because something like that happening across the street is crazy. And you could think like, well, what if that guy would run over here and try to do something to my family?
The sheriff's office says they need the public's help.
There may be somebody who may have something on a home security camera sometime between Tuesday evening and Thursday morning, and maybe they may notice something suspicious, something, out of the ordinary.
The investigation is still ongoing, so if you have any tips that could help deputies learn more about the deaths of Larry and Sandra Moore, you're asked to call the Oconee County Sheriff's Office or leave an anonymous tip at Crime Stoppers. You can find all of
Yeah, so no update really. They're still investigating what happened to them. Kim says it's a weekend. It's a long weekend. It's isn't it Luther King long weekend this weekend for Americans? Isn't it a federal holiday tomorrow, Monday? I thought it was. Susan said, did they have money? Well, I don't know. We don't really know anything. It's very, very little information. All we know is that they weren't answering phone calls. They asked for a welfare check. Someone went out there and found them at the property. And they're saying that what it looked like inside of the home, it was really obvious it was a murder, that it's not possible to be anything else. And so someone either broke in or forced their way in or were let in and then did this to two 70-year-old people who were apparently very active in the community. They went to the church. They were just like, good community people. And they don't know who would want to actually hurt them, but maybe money. I haven't heard anything about them being really rich or anything. Martin Luther King Day, that is right. So you guys got a day off tomorrow? Then I expect you all here tomorrow since you guys have got the day off. No, I hope you enjoy your long weekend. Montana says, husband off for MLK Day tomorrow. He's planned doctor's appointments for the day. That's boring. That's boring. That's what you use your leave for. Tomorrow should be for you should be partying tonight. You get one extra day. Gayla said he was 76. Bless him, at that age, he couldn't really do anything. Yeah, that is true. I mean, what else can they can't, unless they had a firearm or something, you can't really expect them to defend themselves. I'm just trying to see if there's no update. Last update was 72 hours ago. So yeah, there's been no big updates or anything. Larry Moore and his wife Sandra, they are the two that were located at the property. Huh. Hold on. Huh. That's weird. The photos that we're seeing, remember how we were looking at the house the other day and we're like, oh, it's the one in the trees or whatever? I don't know what's going on, but I just saw a thing with like cops all out the front of it. And I just want to double check something. Hold on. It looks like it's this property here. This one. Remember how originally Ping said he thought it was this one? And then we sort of ummed and ahed, and then we were like, no, it's this one out the front here. It's not. It's this one here. It is the one down the back. So I was wrong about that. Originally, I did think it was that one, and for some reason, we changed our minds and went up here. But no, it really is this one that's all the way down the back of the property. And when we zoom out, you can see there is this property here. There is a church, and then there's something here. I'm guessing another home or something. But if they're all the way down here in the back, you may never hear anything. So it's possible, even though they have a church here and neighbors up the front, they might not have noticed anyone heading down to the home. They may not have even heard anything with all these trees surrounding the property. So that is a little disturbing. Can you get in from behind their property? Hold on. Yeah, look, their property backs on to all this forested area. What? What is this thing here? It looks like transmission lines. They look like energy lines. So, I don't know. I'm guessing you maybe can sneak up through the bushland here, but would you? Would you come up through all this forested area to get to their home? Oh, wait, that's not. Is that their one? No, their one's up here. You'd have to sneak through all of this. Look. You would have to make it all the way through all of this type of bushland. Somehow get in here. You'd have to probably come in through this road and then come through this giant swath of forest to get to the back of their property. I feel like that's a lot of work, and that if someone was going to hurt them, they'd just come in through here. You wouldn't do all that. Frightening, because yeah, they're quite isolated down the back of the property here. Is it their surname in the street name? What is their surname? It is Moore, and they live in, what's the road they live on? No, they live on the Long Creek Highway. No, yeah, I guess they live on Cromer Moore Drive. It could be that I wonder if, see how it says Cromer Moore Drive? I wonder if these are the Moores, and the original owner of this property might have been Cromer, last name Cromer, and they may have gazetted this road. So it looks like they probably cleared all the bushland here and built these properties at some point over the last 40, 50 years. And then they would have had to have put in a road too. So maybe when they did the work on this land and then put in the road, they were able to name it because it was their property. So you might be right in that it's Cromer and then Moore Drive, and that gives people a direction of how to find them. Hey, just go to the street named after us. Hold on. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's probably true. I can't think of another reason of why that would be named that, and I think it'd be far too random that that's their last name and they live here, and that I wonder if we find out the people who live here are named Moore. I mean Cromer, and they're the Moore family. Um, it's spooky though, really spooky that someone would come all the way through here, all the way down this like giant driveway and murder them. Like if we go to the street here, watch this. You can't even see their property really. They're all the way back there. I think that's their one there. There's that house, the front one. There's that weird one that's in the trees. And then that might be the church actually. That might be the church that we can see. You can't even really see their property. Here, let me go down the road here. Might be able to see it. No, it's really hard to. They're in a really good spot where you cannot really see them. There you go. That's their property at the back there. Yeah, they're all the way up here, up the back. This is the only way I'm able to see their property. This is their property here. So, but from the front of the road, you can't really see it. And then you have, look at that, all this bushland. So I doubt someone would go through all of this bushland to try and get to them. So they must have come up either that main driveway. Yeah, look at this. Would you walk through all this? I don't think you would. I think that's far too much. Too much effort. But I reckon you could go up the driveway, up through here, or you could probably make it through here too. You could probably walk straight up this hill and get to their home. And if no one is at the church, or if nobody is home at this property, you would have a clear run to get to their property up here. So a couple of ways of accessing their property. I don't know. We don't know if it's forced entry. We don't know. Green Fairy Light said, woman found dead near the... Yeah, I saw that earlier. There is a woman... They're not sure whether she drowned or she was attacked by dingoes, but they found a woman on Kagari Island, or Kagari Island, or what they used to call Fraser Island, and yeah, they're not sure whether she basically was attacked by 12 dingoes or she drowned and then the dingoes found her. They're not sure. Oh, is it Kagari or Morden Island, or I don't know. Fraser Island, Morden Bay, Kagari, I don't know. Let me have a look. Yeah, the lady was quite young too. I'm just trying to see if there's an update for it. There was an update. Apparently, police did a press conference. Let's have a look if I can get it. I'm probably gonna have to go here. Apparently, there was a press conference for it just moments ago. Let me see if I can actually get to it. I don't see it. Okay. I'm gonna try to see if it's on the ABC, so we can see the press conference or not. Kagari. How strange. I can see that they did one. I just can't access it for some reason. Like, I can see that there was a press conference, but I can't get to it. Okay. Anyway, yeah, a 19-year-old woman has been found dead on Kagari Island in Queensland with significant wounds. The Canadian woman was found unresponsive on the beach north of Maheno Wreck shortly after 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Police believe she may have gone for a swim around 5 a.m. in the morning. They are working to determine how she died, including investigating whether she drowned or was the victim of a dingo attack. So there you go. It would be a very unusual thing for 12 dingoes to kill a grown adult. I mean, they often attack people, but I don't know if I've ever heard of like a pack of them attacking people like that in that way. So very strange. Queensland police said a crime scene has been established with investigators investigating the ongoing circumstances into the woman's death. They said while the cause of the woman's death is unclear, there have been a spate of dingo attacks on the islands in recent years. So yeah, there has been a few, but mostly young people, like young children and things like that. Not really adults. That's a bit of a strange one. Let's see. Yeah, it is a bit weird. If I find that press conference, I'll let you know, but I cannot find it. It is not showing up for me. What are they saying here? Police Inspector Paul Algie told ABC dingoes were seen near the woman's body. He says, I can confirm that the dingoes had physically been in contact with the body, which means they were eating her. She was a young woman enjoying a beautiful part of the world, and that's what makes this such a tragedy. A source familiar with the island who spoke on the condition of anonymity said the woman was bitten by a dingo, but police were not sure if that occurred before or after she died. So they're not sure if it, yeah. So that basically, they're not sure if she died, drowned in the ocean, got washed ashore, and the dingoes, being scavengers, started feeding, predating on her body, which would be a normal thing. Or she was on the beach at 5 a.m. in the morning and the dingoes attacked her. That's basically what the investigation is going to be. Is a dingo like a coyote? No. A dingo is more similar to your normal dog, like a normal type canine. Not really like a wolf or anything, but here's one. This is what they look like. They look like an orange, sandy colored canine. It's more like a typical dog, but they're wild. And you're not supposed to touch them. You're not supposed to feed them. You're not really supposed to look at them. Because apparently, if you look at them, it's like aggression. And like they can get upset about it and they can attack you. So yeah, you're not supposed to do that. We'll see. We'll see what the autopsy of this woman says. It'll tell you if those bite marks were post-mortem, there'll be no bruising and there'll be no bleeding from the marks where the dingoes bit her. They'll be able to tell very quickly whether it was post-mortem or peri-mortem. And that's the way they'll be able to tell is bruising to the area and blood. If there's blood, it means it happens before, because when you're dead, your heart is no longer pumping. So if you get bitten by something, there's nothing to push the blood out. because your heart's not going. So they'll be able to tell very quickly whether she died from the dogs or drowning. Gail said, "Here, puppy, puppy." I don't know if he'd like that. He'd probably bite you. Yeah. All right. Hey, we still had another story to go. We still had another story. And it is a guilty verdict in a case that we've been following for a number of years. So hold on. It is Derek Rosa. I'm sure you all remember Derek Rosa and the photos and the evidence from his mum's death. Well, he's finally pled guilty to murdering his mother, and thank God it's over. All right, I'll play you the video.
Teenager pleading guilty today to killing his own mother. Emotions running high inside the courtroom as the teen came face to face with his stepfather. This all happening just days before the trial was set to begin. Local 10's Magdala Luisant is live in Miami tonight with more from the courtroom. Magdala.
Yes, Janice, it was very emotional inside the courtroom. The stepfather looking at his stepson, saying that he considered him as his own son and that he destroyed the family's lives after killing his mother, but he must sit with the consequences of his actions.
Nothing justifies what you did.
Strong emotional words from Frank Ramos addressing his wife's killer, Derek Rosa, who is also his stepson.
Your mom was a loving mother. Losing her destroyed our family and changed our life forever.
In a Miami-Dade County courtroom Friday, Rosa, now 15 years old, is changing his not guilty plea to guilty on a lesser charge of second-degree murder.
I sentence you to 25 years in the Florida State Prison.
Rosa was 13 years old at the time of his mother, Irina Garcia's death. State prosecutors say on October 12, 2023, he stabbed his mom 46 times as she slept in her Hialeah apartment.
Ms. Garcia was discovered to have had multiple stab wounds to her body.
The gruesome murder happened while the 39-year-old's newborn daughter was still sleeping in the room. State prosecutors say shortly after, he took pictures of his mother's body in a pool of blood, took a selfie with his hand covered in blood, then sent those pictures to a friend.
You killed her? All right. What type of knife was it? Do you know?
Just a base-sized kitchen knife.
Had this gone to trial, a jury would have heard a recorded confession from Rosa during a police interrogation and a 911 call. The judge asked Rosa if he wanted to say anything. He only said 2 words.
I'm sorry.
And the state attorney's office sharing a statement with us in response to this sentencing today, saying in part, the conclusion of the case doesn't diminish Derek's actions. When he stole his mother's life, he also stole so much of his own future. Derek Rosa's 25-year sentence. After he is finished serving that, he will have 20 years of probation. The judge told him he is to stay away from his stepfather and half-sister. We're live in Miami.
A very generous sentence, really. 25 years and 20 years of probation should he ever make it through 25 years of prison. I mean, I think for what he did to his mom, I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. Max, what are you doing in here? What are you doing in here? How you going, Max? Good to see you. Does Dad know you're watching right now? You know, we go through some pretty hard topics, my friend. Kathy said, was he jealous of the newborn? I think that was part of it. I don't know if he ever gave a full reason. I think he was mad at his mom, like they had problems. Hold on. While Derek did not provide a single specific motive to investigators, prosecutors and court documents have pointed to several disturbing factors that likely influenced his actions. He had become obsessed with blood and gore, and that he had a morbid fascination with violence, death, and blood in the time leading up to the killing. And it was argued that Rosa may have been motivated by a desire to simply shock others. He reportedly showed his girlfriend a video of a veteran dying by S word on the day of the murder. That video is horrific. Don't you ever watch it. I have seen that video and it is horrible. No one should ever watch that video. Never. Which led the girlfriend to break up with him. And he apparently also sent bloody selfies and photos of his mother's body to an online friend immediately after the attack. They also said he might have been influenced by Friday the 13th films. And they said that he had told a friend he wanted to be like Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. He had also performed internet searches on how to effectively kill someone, including searching for carotid artery and then best place to stab someone and if a knife could cut through bone. So there were several things that could have been it. All right. I believe you. Gayla said, I always thought there was something going on. Definitely. So 25 years in jail, 20 years of parole, and he will only be in his 30s. Yeah, he'll be in his late 30s by the time he gets out of jail. He was 13 when he was arrested. He's going to serve early 30s. No, 38, sorry. Math. Yeah, he'll be around 38 years old by the time he is released from prison, just before he turns 40. Then he's got 20 years of probation. He'll be 58 when he finishes his probation. So he'll be almost 60 years old. So the majority of his life will be under some sort of care from authorities. Chipmunk said, might be having bad dreams for many years now. The fact that he took photos directly after killing his mum and sending them to people is just, it's almost like, how could you do that to your own mum? Yeah, it's this one. This is from the camera in her room, and it captures him standing over her. There are some other screenshots from this that show you exactly what he was doing. And you imagine in this cradle here, there is a newborn baby. And he is right there standing over his own mom, killing her. Horrible, really is. That poor baby doesn't have a mum anymore and will have to grow up without her because of his selfish actions that he did. And when he said sorry in the video, he didn't even seem remorseful. He was almost like, oh, I have to say this, don't I? To get the second-degree murder, yeah? There's the knife. By the way, I don't know if you noticed this. Yeah, where is it? The tip of the knife is broken, meaning somewhere inside of that woman's body, the tip of that knife broke off probably from hitting bone. When you hit bone with a knife, it'll break like that. So yeah, there you go. So the tip of that knife is snapped off, and that happens from hitting someone with a knife like that. Let's see. He has disconnect big time. Definitely. Look at that. Can we get the bit where he said sorry? Yeah, here.
I'm sorry.
Are you? Doesn't seem like it.
2 words.
I'm sorry.
don't seem very sorry. That is one of the worst apologies ever. That was almost like you're ordering a Big Mac and you're like, 1 Big Mac, thanks. A number 7 with a Diet Coke. It doesn't even seem passionate with any emotion behind it. Nothing. As if it is procedural. That's it. He got much older looking? Yeah, he did. Definitely. Emotions show weakness in prison. Yeah, I don't think you can lay it on that though. This is in a court of law. There's a lot of stupid things people do, like prisoners go to court and say and do things that make them seem weak. This is a court of law, not a prison cell. And I would have liked to have seen him express some emotion for his poor mum. Chipmunk said no one would say that little if they meant it. Oh yeah, he has no remorse at all. He just said it because I reckon he felt like he had to. Like he said 2 words, not even like I miss my mum. I'm sorry I did what I did. Just I'm sorry. Like nothing. As if this has all been a joke. Montana said almost like he read it off the paper in front of him. Yeah, as if it has no meaning. That it's just words. That's it. Kim says maybe he's a psychopath. Maybe. I mean, to do that to your own mum, you might be. It's a possibility. Who's buzzing me? Okay. All right, SP Mama. Have a good night, my friend. Have a good night. Yeah, at 13, you're willing to do that. Willing to pick up a knife and sneak into your mother's room. Like, and do that. Like, you are like the boogeyman in the middle of the night. Standing over your poor mum like that. She must have, like, her final moments on this earth must have been very, very frightening. No, it wasn't her. Rachel said something is very wrong with him. And we just told him we're going to let him out of prison in 25 years. We're like, we'll see you on the outside when you're 38. Have fun. Like, nothing to stop him from being put into a hospital or, nothing for when he gets out of prison. No care, no mental facility, nothing. Chipmunk said, get some good rest. SP Mama, I hope she gets a good night's sleep. All right. It was a short night tonight. Just a few updates, just a couple of stories tonight. But I'll be back tomorrow. And then there'll be a couple of days this week where the show times are going to be a little all over the place. There'll be a couple where they're really early. And that's because I've got something I got to do in the evening a couple of times. So we're going to be on before Web Sleuths, before Trisha. So we're going to be on beforehand. Yeah, because we've got some stuff we have to do on Thursday and Friday. All right. I love you all. Hey, we are currently fundraising to go to the Patrick Oren Stevenson trial. The links are in the chat and under the video. We need to raise, it's about $1,500 to be honest. And that's how much we have to raise before April. And that's so we can go to the trial for 12 weeks. It's about 12 weeks time and cover it every day. So I need a little bit of help from my people. If you can, I would appreciate it. If you can't, that's okay. Hit the thumbs up and if you haven't hit the subscribe button, I would appreciate it. But you could do those things for me instead. I love you all. Have a great night out there. And I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. There's going to be like 500 updates because it's Monday. There's going to be like 1 billion updates to every case we've been looking at. I promise. Every Monday, that's what happens. All right. Good night for now. Bye.